It was a series of just being too stubborn to give up, right? And then at some point, it almost surprised me when I realized I didn't have to anymore. I'm Penny Reingans. I'm a professor of computer science and director of the School of Computing and Information Science at the University of Maine. So let's talk about algorithms. I went to college thinking I was going to be a lawyer, right? I'd seen lawyers in TV shows. They got to wear cool clothes. They got to help people. That was great. So I was going to go be a lawyer. My very first semester in college, I took an economics class, which is where sort of social studies started. And I took a computer science class because I thought that computers were going to be everywhere. Recipe is an algorithm. I was really, really good at economics, and it bored me. And computer science was like beating my head against the wall trying to make it work. And it grabbed me somehow. And so I was sure that this is what I want to do. You mix things together, you put it in an oven, you bake for a certain amount of time. What you get out, your output, is cookies. About my junior year, I came to believe that I could actually do it. Sometimes I cried, sometimes I escaped into something else. You know, things that are not about this at all. Making things with my hands. That's all sort of recovery and all maintaining sanity. Thinking about the recipe as an algorithm, you've got inputs. You've got flour, sugar. So I graduated from college in the mid-'80s. So very long time ago, very different world. Egg, butter. The Apple Mac came out while I was in college. And so I was actually prophetic saying these computer things are going to be everywhere. And there started to be commercials which showed the people who played with computers were young boys, not girls. Or the people who were supposed to be experts in computing also had no social interactions and no life, and these stereotypes became really common. There's this metaphor that discouragement, each little piece of discouragement, the looking around and seeing no one like you, it's like a feather discouraging you. Getting one bad grade, right? Struggling with a line of code, and it's like a feather. And each one is little, but you keep adding them up and adding them up. If you get to a ton, right? You can take these light little things, you can create a whole mass of discouragement from that. And so what we're trying to do with things like the Aspirations Award is lift one off, right? A little bit of lightning. And hopefully that will be sustaining, right? It will make enough of a difference to tip the balance.
Hello, I'm Gloria Kelly.
My name is Felicia Bullock.
Fourth class midshipman at Maine Maritime Academy.
I'm currently a senior at Bowdoin College, where I study computer science and mathematics.
I had received the local affiliate award for the New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and Maine area.
When I was in high school, I won the affiliate award from NCWIT for my region.
For 2 years, as well as the national runner-up from this last year.
And I was also runner-up for the Aspirations Award nationally.
There are few enough women in the field that it's hard to pull everybody out individually, right? But if you can teach folks to lift themselves out, to live in communities, strengthen each other in community, that's even more powerful.
Mr. Oscar had noticed that I was really into it and sort of taking on a leadership role, even if I wasn't the best at programming or because I was just starting out.
I took a class in high school that was around computer science. It was an AP Java class. Absolutely hated it, cried every night. Teacher gave me a passing grade of a C so I could get through and go on to something else. And my mom is actually the one who stopped me and was like, I think you should try it. I don't know why, I can't tell you why, but I think you should really stick with it.
When you're in the world of robotics, it's mostly men. And so it really helps out a support network for people to come to each other and be like, hey, I'm trying to start up this thing. Can I get some help? And there'd be people around who you might not have met otherwise.
And she enrolled me in a competition that was outside of my school through Black Data Processing Associates. It's known as BDPA. They have a high school computer competition that they do throughout the United States. And so that's what I did for 3 years, from my sophomore year of high school all the way up through senior summer. And absolutely loved CS and got to see a totally different side of it than what I saw in my class previously.
So really, it's them finding me through my mentor was definitely helpful in that.
Personally, for me, one thing I really had to learn was how to embrace taking risks. And I will be the first to say that my mom taught me to take risks, but I was always afraid, because your parents can teach you one thing, but when you walk into the world, you're being taught a totally different thing. I will say, especially as a Black woman, there's so many messages about learning to be strong and learning to be very self-sufficient and support yourself, and those constraints aren't placed on men. They're allowed to make mistakes, whether it's like going to a party and doing too much and getting too drunk, or making a mistake on a homework correction, and they'll still be okay. No one's gonna knock their intelligence, no one's gonna they're not gonna be unlikable.
You're sitting in a room and there's no one like you that looks like you. No one of your gender, no one of your race. You're surrounded by people that seem other. The visual evidence says you're not supposed to be here. And that frustration can build onto that feeling of you're not supposed to be here.
When you're surrounded by a bunch of guys and they're trying to read and do things like that, you tend to kind of sit off to the side and let them do their thing. But in realizing that there are many women who are trying to do the exact same thing, it was eye-opening that you could actually do something, even if you were from a non-technological background.
The importance of awards like this, particularly for girls who might be in a place where they're the only one, is it's an external validation of someone else saying, we know you exist, we think that what you're doing or what you're interested in is exciting, we think you matter, right? And you may be the only one where you are, but there's more people over here, right? If you go 2 towns over, there's another 2 girls. And you go 3 towns in the other direction, there's one more. And if you connect to each other, then you're not alone anymore. It's a really exciting time for computing right now, because the ways in which computing can influence the world, the ways in which computing can be a tool for doing good, are so much more abundant now and so much clearer that there's a power in that counterbalances this pressure, this societal image of you don't want to be a geek. Right? You can take that, you can own it, you can change the world with it, and that's really powerful.